GamingBolt presents 12 things you need to know before you buy Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim has been out in the market for 6 years now. It first launched back in 2011 and took the world by storm, and since then, it has showed no signs of slowing down. With the recent releases of the Remastered Edition, Skyrim has become quite relevant again. Its sales are steady, people are still playing it, people are still talking about it, and Bethesda has made the smart decision of capitalizing on this success before they move on to something new and fresh for the series. A PlayStation VR version of the game is also due, but it is the Switch version of the game that we're going to be talking about today. Skyrim on the Switch sounds like a dream come true, and chances are, even if you've spent hundreds of hours playing the game already, you're still going to want to play it on the Switch. Being able to play Bethesda's massive open-world RPG on the go sounds almost too good to be true, but that's exactly what's going to happen soon enough. To gear up for the looming launch in this feature, we're going to look at 12 things that you should know about Skyrim for the Nintendo Switch. JOYCON support. Skyrim is going to take full advantage of the unique capabilities of the Switch hardware, and one of the ways it's going to do that is by incorporating JOYCON support. While playing Skyrim on the Switch, players will obviously be able to detach the Joy-Cons from the screen, which is something that can be done in all other Switch games as well. What makes Skyrim unique in that regard is that the game will feature motion controls via the two Joy-Cons, one for each in-game hand, which incidentally brings us to our second point: improved bow and arrow controls. Archery will also be a little different in Skyrim for the Switch. No, it's not a completely new control scheme that replaces the old one. You can still use the regular buttons as well. However, should you wish to do so, you will also have the option to use the Joy-Cons for motion controls and control the bow and arrow through that, with actual aiming, knocking, and drawing your arrows and firing. Lockpicking. Lockpicking in Skyrim's Switch version is something that also excites a lot of fans. It may just be one small feature, but as anyone who has played the game knows, it's also quite a prevalent and important one. While you can pick locks regularly in Skyrim for the Switch, you can also do so by detaching both Joy-Cons. The lockpicking feature will use the Joy-Con's HD Rumble feature, and you will have to actually twist your Joy-Cons and feel for the vibrations to figure out when something has been unlocked. All DLCs included. Just like the Remastered Edition that came out for the PS4 and the Xbox One in 2016, Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch will be coming out as a complete package of the game. In addition to all of the Switch-specific features and mechanics in the game, Skyrim on the Switch will come with all of its DLC included in the package: the incredible Dawnguard, the house-building-oriented Hearthfire, and Dragonborn. Master Sword and HYLIAN Shield. One of the things that pumped people up for Skyrim on the Switch was seeing the Master Sword and the HYLIAN Shield from the Legend of Zelda series show up in the footage. Players will be able to use amiibos to get loot drops in Skyrim, which will contain the aforementioned legendary items from Nintendo's Hyrule. We're not sure yet if they will have special stats or characteristics, but either way, the Master Sword in the frozen wilds of Skyrim would definitely be appreciated. Link's Tunic. Of course, that is not at all where amiibo functionality ends with the Switch version of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Other than the Master Sword and the HYLIAN Shield, people will be able to use their amiibo figures from Breath of the Wild to summon Link's blue champion's tunic from the game into Skyrim itself. Just forget about the perks for a moment and imagine how cool it would be to traverse the lands of Skyrim in Link's blue tunic with the Master Sword in one hand and the HYLIAN Shield in the other. Man, pure bliss. Exclusive loot chests. Amiibo compatibility for Skyrim on the Switch will go beyond the realms of Hyrule though. It's not just Zelda stuff that's going to be included in this game. Apparently, there will be other amiibos that players will be able to use to receive exclusive chests of loot in the game. What these will be and what loot will entail are things that have not yet been fully detailed by Bethesda, but we're excited to see what they have in store for us. Expect better load times. One of the bigger advantages cartridges hold over discs and hard drives is their data read times. This means stuff loads far faster on a cartridge than it would on a disc. This will be true of Skyrim on the Switch as well, which will have faster load times than any other version of the game, except for digital versions installed on solid-state drives, that is. Given how long one tends to spend playing Skyrim and how excessive its loading screens can get, this is definitely a major benefit. No mod support. Skyrim Remastered Edition was lauded by fans for including mod support for the Xbox One and PS4 owners. And while that support was quite restrictive and limited on the PlayStation 4, it turns out it's still better than what we're going to get on the Nintendo Switch. And that's because the Switch version of Skyrim is not going to feature any mod support whatsoever. And as it stands right now, Bethesda has no plans of changing that in the near future. The frame rate. Frame rate is of course quite important for any game you're playing, since not only does it affect visuals, it also affects the fluidity of the gameplay itself. On the Nintendo Switch, the frame rate issues that usually plagued the original version of Skyrim in 2011 and were still somewhat present in the 2016 re-release will apparently no longer be a problem. As per a report by Digital Foundry, it looks like the frame rate in the Switch version of Skyrim will be maintained around 30 FPS quite consistently, and that the game is not going to freeze or slow down as much anymore. The resolution. As for the resolution, we don't have an official announcement from Bethesda regarding this yet, but as per the same report by Digital Foundry, it looks like the Switch version of Skyrim will not feature a full HD resolution. While this may sound disappointing, it's worth noting that on the Switch's handheld screen, when the system is out of its dock, the game will be rendered at a native 720p resolution. Skyrim on the go. And this right here is the biggest and best reason why everyone is so excited about being able to play Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch. This is a game that you can spend countless hours playing, a game that sucks you into its worlds and holds you there in chains for hundreds of hours, a game that is almost dangerously addictive and can make a person crazily obsessed about it. Putting a game such as that on a portable system is the best thing Bethesda could have done. Can you imagine being able to play Skyrim on the bus? And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.